Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Jyoti Arora. I'm currently working in Medicity Hospital and I'm going to talk on role of breast MR in breast cancer. Okay, just a quick overview. I'll be briefly talking about technique and the diagnostic criteria and then going into details of indications and role of MRI in ductal carcinoma in situ. Okay, technique, everybody is well versed. The Siemens MR application specialists, they come and feed everything for us, so we don't really have to worry about. The only thing I would like to specify here is that we definitely need a dedicated breast coil, and dynamic MR imaging is one thing which is very essential because it increases our specificity for the breast cancer. Okay, this is just to show the sequences that we acquire. It's the STIR and the T1 weighted, which is pre-contrast, followed by the T1 FAT-SAT post-contrast images. The delayed interviews and the subtracted and the MIP images are created in line. The dynamic images give us the mean curves or the time activity curves, which help us to increase the specificity. And then we have the diffusion weighted sequences. This is a ADC map which clearly show restricted diffusion in the area of cancer. This is the reason why I prefer a breast coil rather than a body coil. You can see there's a marked difference in the resolution when a breast coil is used as compared when the body coil is used. Right. When we are using the subtracted images, we have to be a little bit careful because invariably there is some amount of movement artifact. It's because of the breathing, the breast goes in and out, and as a result of it, there's some movement artifact that's generally seen. And these subtracted images, they produce this linear, sorry, I can't see it myself here. Yeah, this linear artifacts which mimic enhancement. So we have to be careful. Generally they can be well picked, but at times they can pose diagnostic difficulties. So that's the reason why I generally prefer T1 FAT-SAT images, but if fat suppression for some reason doesn't happen, then subtracted images can come to help. Diagnostic criteria, again, those who report breast MRs, they are very well versed with the diagnostic criteria, so I'm not going into details of that. It's the irregular shape, the indistinct margins, rim enhancement or heterogeneous enhancement. And on the kinetic front, it's the initial rapid uptake which is followed by the washout or the plateau phenomena. Now morphologically we can distinguish the lesions as mass or non-mass. When it is a mass lesion, it's the one which has a correlate to it on the pre-contrast images. So here the morphology and the kinetics become important. When it is a tiny foci, then obviously there is no morphology to it, and in these cases it's the kinetic curves which are important. And when it is a non-mass like enhancement, which is generally seen in cases of DCIS and in the invasive lobular cancers, here the morphology is much more important and kinetics don't give much they don't play much role there. Right. And lesion characterization according to the kinetic curves. Here you can see that there is a rapid initial uptake. There are various papers published, and one of the paper published in radiology says it's 80% threshold that is seen in the initial uptake phase. This is followed by a rapid washout. When I say washout, it has to be at least 10%. That's the type 3 curve that we see in malignant cases. If there's a type 3 curve, the likelihood of cancer is about 87%, which is quite high. But if the uptake continues, if there's a persistent uptake of contrast, that would give a type 1 curve, which is mostly seen in benign lesions, but still there is a 6% likelihood there might be a cancer there. In between the two are the type 2 curves, where it's plus minus 10% washout or persistent uptake, which again have the chances of cancer are more than chances of a benign lesion. This is how a rapid uptake and a washout on visual eyeballing will look like. Sorry, I can't see here. Anyways, this is the pre-contrast image. We can see the mass here. This is how a rapid uptake would look like. And on the delayed images, it would be a washout that we can see here. So this will give a typical type 3 curve. Now, if I don't see any enhancement, what does that mean? it means that the chances that there is no invasive focus are nearly 100%. But if there's a negative MR but positive mammogram, that does not exclude cancer. A biopsy is a must there. What are the limitations of breast MR? Now, these can be divided into two groups, the patient characteristics and the tumor characteristics. Now, we are well aware of the hormonal enhancement that we so commonly see in the luteal phase in patients on hormonal replacement therapy and pregnancy and lactation. And because of this hormonal enhancement, what happens is the contrast between the normal background tissue and the tumor is reduced, and that's the reason why we miss lesions, or that's lesion why we call them benign. And then there are tumor characteristics. One of the important this thing is a DCIS, or ductal carcinoma in situ. What happens is it gives a non-mass-like enhancement which can be easily, which is not easily distinguishable by, with the background enhancement. Then we have invasive lobular cancers. Again, they are great mimickers. They pose a great diagnostic difficulty, not only on the conventional imaging, but also on the breast MRs. And thirdly, we have the mucinous cancer. These are very well-defined cancers. So on morphology, they mimic like benign lesions. They have T1 hyperintensity as well as T2 hyperintensity. And because they're filled in with mucin, they don't allow the washout of the contrast. And as a result, they give type 1 curves. And that's the reason why we are unable to diagnose them on the breast MRs.